So it was just speaking a bit about how customers can use data externally. So you can connect via our API to various BI tools. If you have an integration with, say, JobBoss or ProShop, you'll be leveraging our API to use that integration, and you can do the same thing with your data into a BI tool. We also offer CSV exports, which allow you to dump your data out into spreadsheets. So any custom queries you put together, you can dump them out, share them across your team, share them with customers if need be, if you want to dump out customer data. So jumping right into it, we are going to move into the app. It's kind of a static page. You can, change time filters, filter down to specific accounts on each of these tiles on the default dashboard. However, if you don't have the analytics package, you can't kind of tweak and save those long term. So it's more for just on the fly, analysis. But this page has some pretty good info. Shows you, your quote volume over the last month. How many quotes am I sending? How many orders are being placed? Who am I quoting? Who's ordering? And if you use our smart RFQ form on your site, you'll get some info into what traffic is coming through that form. I want to move into our advanced analytics tool. So the advanced analytics tool is a bit more flexible. It allows you to kind of interact with all your data in paperless parts. So think of any data point you can see on a quote, whether that's part numbers, process names, operation names, contacts, accounts. All those fields are available. And if you've used any tools like Power BI or Tableau, the builder works in kind of a point-click fashion, and you can add to reports, remove fields from reports, etc. We'll get into the builder shortly, but want to talk about this dashboard here. So I mentioned gamification. When you have information like this up in your shop, it allows your team to kind of see what volume of work others are doing. And when you see something like, okay, Igor is sending more quotes than me this week, you might want to say, I'm going to hustle through a couple more quotes to beat him or to catch up. So thinking of how you can gamify things in your shop, having a dashboard that shows, how much quote volume each estimator is doing, who's winning the most orders, who has the highest win rate, who has the lowest draft to send time is a great way to do that. If you aren't doing this today, ask yourself, who on my team quotes the fastest, who on the team has the highest win rate. You can't answer those questions. These are the types of dashboards I think you should start off with. Moving along the line here, I have a dashboard that helps me understand my backlog and quoting throughput. So switching gears into more kind of longer term reporting, holistic insight into what's going on in my shop. I know that I have 9 quotes in draft right now, and that might not mean a ton to me, but if I know I send on average maybe 10 or 20 quotes a week, that might be a couple days of work that's sitting in the backlog. And there might be some important quotes in there that I want to turn around much quicker than that. So it might be an indicator that you need to go in and prioritize, what's sitting in the draft, get someone assigned to it. And if this number starts to creep upward, you have familiarity with what a typical backlog looks like in your shop. So just being able to have a quick glance and say, all right, how are we doing this week? Are we falling behind? Do we need to pick up the pace or maybe pull somebody in to help out? That's how I would use this dashboard here. So got 9 quotes in draft. What's going on with those quotes? So in Paperless, we've got a workflow tracking tool. So as you're working through quotes, you get to say, this one's in progress, this one's complete, maybe this one's on hold for some reason. And that's what you see reflected in this pie chart. So with my 9 quotes in draft, I've completed 2 items, I've got 3 in progress, and 4 that I have to get started on. So at a glance, you can take a look at this page and see what's going on across your team, and get some insight as to whether or not you need to intervene. On the same vein of like holistic reporting and kind of understanding what's going on in your shop, relating this also back to some other features that we offer, another way you can use the analytics tool is to track whether or not you're winning expedite revenue. So let's say 2023 kicked off, you set out an initiative to try to win more expedite orders. So using our expedite tool to offer a quicker lead time at an increased price, this dashboard can help you track whether you're acting on that initiative or not. So I can see I've captured 5 million in total expedite revenue. Since I started doing this initiative, I was worried it might have some impact on my win rate. So I'm watching my trailing 30-day win rate really closely against kind of my average win rate to make sure I'm not impacting it significantly. And given the fact that we want to offer more expedites, I want to see that increase happening month over month. So that's what I'm looking at here. And in my fake simulated account here, my customers love expedites, and they continue to order them. And actually, I think when they see that quicker lead time, it makes me even more likely to win, and I'm making more money. This page right here is going to take a second to load, but I'm a big fan of this table right here. It's very simple, just a list of all my outstanding bids and some high level information about them. What was the RFQ number? Who's the account contact? If I had some notes about the quote, those would be listed here. This is really great to download and share out to the team and say, we've got to go follow up on these quotes. You can filter by salesperson, by estimator, or even down to a specific account. Say you want to go follow up with all your Boeing quotes. This is a way you can do that. So some shops have outside salespersons that might not be in paperless parts, and great way to help get the information over to them is through the analytics tool. So building a report, we can spare filtering down to my favorite account, Boeing, but you're able to jump in here and dump this out to a CSV. Once this loads, want to use this as a quick opportunity to demonstrate the query builder. So here I've just pulled in a bunch of fields that are relevant to me. Before I go and send this out to my outside sales team, I actually want to remove some information. Let's say we don't care about the notes field, we can get rid of that. Let's say we don't need the quote number. That doesn't mean anything to the sales team. They actually want the RFQ number. And then we don't need the estimator name on there. So now that I've got my spreadsheet ready, I can go in, download this as a CSV, and send it right out to the team. Jumping back into a different dashboard, and one of my favorites, and I think one that customers really enjoy, is this reasons for loss dashboard. So starting this year, I wanted to try to understand where I'm losing quotes and why. And I was suspecting that it's due to one of three reasons. Either I lost because my lead time that I quoted was too long, I lost because the price was too high, or I lost because it just took me too long to get the quote back to the customer. And by the time I sent it, they already went with someone else. So I created kind of those three reason codes and started tagging my quotes as such. And when I go in and say, designate a quote as lost, I input the reason code and it funnels into this dashboard here. So, I've instructed my team, my fake team, to do that, and they're going in and tagging these quotes. And I guess I was right. So we're losing because the price is too high. So my most common reason for loss up here is price too high. I've lost 33 quote items totaling, almost a potential of $2 million there. All time, since I started tracking this, I've lost $2 million worth of quotes across 41 different jobs. So real simple, tracking mechanism, but this is really, really hard to do if you're quoting out of spreadsheets and emails, and several different people moving quotes around is hard to kind of wrangle all the data and get it in one place like this. So despite just the simple tagging, the result is pretty powerful just because you're doing it in a tool that kind of has everything in line in one place. If you haven't noticed yet, a lot of these dashboards are kind of relating to other features that we have in paperless parts. Like we looked at the expedite dashboard, we looked at kind of the reason for loss, we looked at the draft to send time. So another feature of paperless is our smart RFQ form, right? So if you're not familiar with that, it's a form you can put on your website. your customers can come there, send submissions, and they deposit into your Paperless Parts account. So my shop uses the Smart RFQ a bunch, and I'm tracking what the volume in that form looks like over time. So these are all my quotes I've received through that form, not the ones I've kind of created on my own in Paperless. And the reason I'm tracking that is because I've made an investment to market our shop more on LinkedIn, and I want to make sure that that's paying off and we're seeing more traffic to the website. So not only am I able to go in and see, all right, more people are submitting quotes online, I can also see, are those quotes, good quality leads that I'm getting through the website? Am I winning those jobs, or am I wasting time quoting them? So my Smart RFQ win rate is just slightly below my standard, global win rate. So I think we're in good shape there. And then, I'm also curious, like who is coming to that form, and who's my most frequent flyer in that sense. So I've got each of those contacts that have made a submission there listed out, and the kind of total that I've quoted them, the total order value that they've placed, and how many quotes that they've placed with me. So I know we went through a lot and pretty quickly, but hopefully this gave you, some ideas as to some things you can start tracking, or some ways you can use the analytics tool to drive efficiencies in your shop, gamify workload across the team, and hopefully at the end of the day, make more money. Also, apologies for the intermittent Wi-Fi troubles there. I swear that is like my luck the first time that I really had any of those. So thanks for bearing with us. I think we had a couple of questions come in. Before we dive into those, in case anybody has to drop off, I do want to call out our customer referral program. So we have a referral program called the Champions Program. And what this is we're encouraging shops of ours or customers of ours to recommend their colleagues or other shops that they know of that might benefit from using paperless parts. And we're doing this so that we can give you credit for kind of the good word that you pass around the community. So when you make a referral with us, you can get up to $500 for every qualified referral. There's no limit to how many referrals you can submit. And actually, we're kind of running a new initiative this month centered around our user conference. So in May, we're having a user conference at our Boston office, and submitting referrals in the month of March. If you can submit 5, you'll be entered in a contest to win an all expense paid trip to Power 2023. So we'll cover your flights, hotels, get you up here to the Boston office, and all you have to do is make 5 qualified referrals, and we'll put your name in the hat that way. And that doesn't negate either this kind of standard bonus that you get for doing that as well. And Ali, if you're on here, I hope I didn't miss any details on the referral program.
Nope, I think you covered everything.
Cool. Looks like we had a couple questions. Oh, Peter, there you are. How do you track new versus repeat quotes? And mostly this was just about Wi-Fi issues. So sorry about that. Well, Peter, great question. There's a couple ways you can track repeat versus new quotes in Paperless. So depending on kind of how your processes and operations are set up in the app, we could put together queries of, tell me how many quote items I sent with this process or with this operation on them versus how many quote items I sent with that process or that operation, and kind of what were the win rates there, what was the draft to send time, and things of that nature. So think about what your process names are. Do they have potentially indicate repeat or not? If it's more of a part number specific thing, we can do it that way too. But if you haven't seen sort of the notices recently, or if you weren't on our webinar yesterday where we talked about the upcoming solutions relating to repeat work, I think more will start to build up around kind of repeat work analytics in that topic. So great question. Thank you. Is there a query or report that would list all the new part numbers added to quotes from that day? John Dunbar, thank you for the question. We could actually just set that up. So yeah, we can, pull in part numbers or quote items created today and their respective part number pretty easily. So we're in the query builder now, and we have different dimensions like part number. And this is a simulated environment, so the data might look a little funky, but there's a part number, and you can do different time ranges. So for quotes created today, not for all time by day, but for just today. Since I haven't uploaded any parts today, we don't see any data today, but this would be John. If you're watching and wanted to mirror this, that's how you could do it. Great question. What a similar query that people often ask for is they want to know, show me all my new accounts. So first time an account sends a quote, they want to see that on a list so that they can go do, like a check-in or a phone call and maybe like an onboarding process or something like that. Hopefully that answered your question, John. And if it didn't, feel free to shoot me an email, or if you need help getting that set up, definitely happy to help you. So the last thing before we break today that I wanted to shout out was to register for our next Power Lunch episode. You can go to paperlessparts.com/power lunch series with Paperless Parts. It's a lot of P's there. Don't say that too fast. And if you have any questions on analytics, feel free to get in touch with me direct, or also reach out to our support team and say, hey, saw the Power Lunch, have a couple of questions, and we'll be happy to get on a call with you.